So I'm Cheryle Ann Morton Robbins. I am 39 and I'm from Christchurch. I'm a mother of a 6-year-old little boy called Joshua, and I have a husband and some chickens and a cat and a house that's a work in progress. I am one of the co-founders of Shocking Pink, so the charity in New Zealand that supports young women with breast cancer. So what started off as a random idea at my hospital bedside when I wasn't well turned into something that achieved our aim that no young New Zealand woman would ever go through that on their own. So that was that's a pretty proud moment for me. Yeah. I love my garden. I love spending time with my boys. I also work as a fundraiser for the Air Rescue Trust in Christchurch. So I'm a professional fundraiser now, which has been a little digression because of cancer, but it's something that I really enjoy, giving back to the community and helping, those fill the gaps where private industry doesn't quite meet it and volunteers can't quite make it. So yeah, it's very rewarding. Yeah. So I was a breastfeeding mum, and I was diagnosed eventually in November 2010 after lots of treatment for mastitis that wouldn't disappear. I had inflammatory breast cancer, so it didn't show up as a lump on any mammograms or ultrasounds. It actually grows more like a web through the breast, and so it took a long time to get diagnosed. Luckily at that point I was still stage 3B, so sort of only just not secondary, but there was no evidence of any disease elsewhere. I had 6 months of chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, a reconstruction. It turns out that I'm also BRCA2 positive, so I have the genetic mutation for ovarian cancer. So it's sort of, although we were very much wished my journey had ended then, I've had a long history of a family having cancer. To me, it was normal for my nan to have one boob. I thought everyone's nan had a boob in the box, I didn't really know that that wasn't normal. And so then going through my own journey, just knowing that it wasn't, this has just been in our family. So then I was on Zoladex, endocrine therapy, for 2 years. Came off of that, went through some treatment to get pregnant, which didn't work. Then I found out I was pregnant naturally with twins, but unfortunately there was a genetic problem with the twins. I kind of do genetic problems quite well. It's a genetic problem with the twins, and so we lost the babies at 16 weeks. But I'd had a cough that was progressing through that time and getting worse and worse. And then it turned into a bit of a squeaky bagpipey kind of noise, and so I went to the doctors and then went through sort of the chest x-ray, CT scans, and got re-diagnosed again with metastatic cancer to my lungs.
And when was that?
That was in June of this year. June of this year, yep. So I'm just at the end of, I've got 2 more chemotherapy sessions to go out of 23. I think I've just done 21. And then, but it's looking like the disease is responding to the treatment, so quite positive as far as not very positive things go. Toughest bit has been, it's very different having a small child with chemotherapy than it is having an older child. When they're smaller, you're much more tired, and it's about sort of having to look after them and get through, but other people can help. Whereas at 6 years old, there's a lot more questions, questions from friends and things they might hear at school, and it's that balancing act between giving them enough information and not exposing them to too much, and also trying to, how much of that you keep private and how much you share with your children, because it's their journey as well. So that's been quite hard, and he has a little code word for it. He calls it KS. We're not allowed to mention cancer, so I think he thinks it's spelt with a K, so he calls it KS, and we're not allowed to say cancer at school and that sort of thing. But his teachers know. I've had a great support from the school, and I'm friends with a lot of the other parents in the class, so it's been good for answering their questions too, and just having that very open dialogue. I believe in that, but I think you just have to be mindful of how much they're ready to hear and when, and what information is appropriate for a 6-year-old that they're going to take and run with compared to what's actually happening. So, yeah. Oh, I've met some amazing people. I've met some amazing friends. I don't ever look at myself and think, oh, my nose is too big, or my bum's too big, or I look and think, oh, I love every bit of me. I don't deserve this to be happening. I have learnt that you can't replace family and friendship and health. You can have all the money in the world, but you can't genuinely buy those things back, and that they are the things that will see you through. And I think that's quite humbling to learn that. And I think just, I don't know what's going to happen in 2, 10, 5 years' time. I can only be here now. Maybe I can look at next week and, sort of plan things, but just sort of very much trying to have that mindfulness and not speculate too much on what might happen. Don't want to worry about that, only to get flattened by a bus, and then I'll be like, oh man, it wasn't cancer after all. Yeah, I think I know that I have a couple more chemotherapy options, but there are things, I'm on a few American boards, and so I'm very aware of the drugs that some of those people are able to get. Everolimus is something that is effective for estrogen positive breast cancer, so if that was something that my oncologist felt appropriate, I would really hope that I would get access to it. I don't want to be written off because I have secondary cancer as, you're going to die anyway. I'm a useful, productive member of society. I've done good things. I'm a good mum. I don't deserve to have my life shortened just because of bureaucracy and politics and the fact that we are a small country. I think that there's lots of money that is not always spent on the wisest things that could be redirected into healthcare, and I'm one of probably 100 women who have got a lot left to give and to contribute to society in there, and I don't think it's fair because of where you're born, what treatment you have access to. If my cousin, who's also BRCA2 positive, could get this treatment in Australia, it's not a very close, not a very far leap for us to be able to get that here as well. So I really, quite passionate about driving that forward to get funding for these things. So, yeah. Oh, I look forward to turning 40 next year. I never thought I would look forward to turning 40, but I do. I look forward to having eyebrows and hair again. I look forward to spending time watching my little boy grow up and who the person he's going to be. I'm lucky enough to have married in my well period, the love of my life. I look forward to just living a simple and happy life and just trying to appreciate that as much as I can. I know how fragile it is, so yeah, just a simple life's quite good for me.